got the notification.
Oh, this hangout on air is live. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. Okay. I have no idea how to see that viewers are on this part. Should I go ahead and go to, let me go to my actual thing.
If anyone's watching, leave a comment and maybe we'll see it.
Help us because we're so new.
We've never done this before, guys.
Okay, my thing is showing live now on my channel.
Yeah, I got the same. Actually, I'm going to click on it.
That viewers are on. Oh, it's like, part. Whoa. Should I go ahead and go to? This is weird. I can see like lags.
V Tamia Naomi, I think I said your name wrong. Says, hello, is anyone here? And hi.
Where are you seeing these comments?
I actually clicked on the video with my computer.
See, like whenever I clicked on my video, it was like super like behind by several seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine is too.
Yeah.
So yours was too, Mandy?
I just paused the video and they said, yes, we can see you. Charles Fetters.
Okay.
And there's Natalia.
Does anyone want to put a comment in? We're so new, I'm sorry. We just want to try and see if we have the comments working.
Let's see.
Oh my gosh.
4 people are watching. Come on, guys. We can do better than 4.
I have no idea if we have just one other viewer besides us. I don't know if it's counting.
Shoot.
Oh my gosh, this is so weird.
You can call me Timmy is said like Timmy. Okay, hello, Timmy.
Hey, hi. Hi. That is so fun. I love how that you're here, Timmy. Woohoo. Oh my gosh, how do I go back? This is so different. Oh my gosh. Y'all who are watching this, please be like wary that we are new.
Let's see.
I wish we could figure out how to get the chat within the Google Hangout, because then we could see it while we're looking at one another rather than looking at the YouTube and seeing the chat.
This is so different. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah,
comments below don't work when live.
And now Charles Fetters, comments below don't work when live. Oh. Well, shoot.
Do we want to just move forward and figure that out for the next live?
Oh, he's meaning. Oh, was Charles? Are you meaning like the comments like below, like the little description box or whatever? We're looking on the side, or at least I am.
Yeah, the side. It's on the side right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking on the side. I just don't know how to see it when we're in our actual Google Hangout thing.
Shelby says, this is so exciting. I've read Keeper. Hi, Natalia.
Hello, hi, Shelby.
Okay, maybe I could do it this way. Okay, girls, what I ended up doing was I kind of like, it's hard to show you without like showing you. I kind of moved like our conversation box in the Google Hangout. I kind of moved it to the side to where I could still watch the comments come up. Because I just saw Natalia say, hi, Shelby, good to see you.
Perfect. Okay.
But I can't see it in our group chat for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, mine's good to go too.
Okay. So, well, guys, thank you so much for attending our first official book review chat. Oh my gosh. Okay. So was anyone wanting to throw out some questions before we officially got started, so that way we could still try and see if we wanted to get a couple more people on here if they weren't knowing?
Oh, well, Timmy just asked, where is Caitlin? So that's actually something that we were going to talk about. So we had really hoped that Caitlin was going to be able to join us tonight, and she had originally planned on it. But it just turned out that with her school schedule and her YouTube, and she's so close to querying her novel, there was just so much going on in her life right now that she didn't feel like she could put her all into the AuthorTube Book Club. So our fingers are crossed that here in the near future, you know, her schedule will become a little quieter and she'll be able to join us again. But for this one, and then potentially next month, she probably will not be here just because she's handling so many other things in her busy, busy life. So fingers crossed that she will join us again in the future. But for now, we are just going to give her the time she needs to make sure that she's getting everything else done.
All right, I understand and happy to see that you three are here. We're happy to be here.
Yes, a little bit nervous, but excited too.
Yes. If there are awkward pauses, we apologize.
It'll happen.
All right. This is weird to look at another type of like screen little circle to know that that's where I'm filming. I'm used to looking at my little phone guy. Now it's my laptop, so it's different.
Okay, so I'm not seeing any other questions, so maybe we should just dive into this and then see if anybody else joins us.
Okay, so hi everybody. Thank you all so much for coming to or attending our AuthorTube book chat live. And of course, we are going over Keeper, which is by Kim Chance, for our first official book review on here. And so we are kind of wanting to start off everything by giving everyone, us three, introductions to you all. And so if y'all don't know who I am, I'm Brooke Passmore, my video channel. Hopefully you guys see that I'm bytheBrooke on YouTube and whatnot. And I've been doing AuthorTube for, since like September of 2017. And so it's been quite a few months now. And so I'm absolutely adoring the AuthorTube world and whatnot. It has just been so much fun. And I'm getting to collaborate with wonderful ladies on here. And so this has been great. And then I have self-published a book in the past. It is not available now anymore because I just felt like I was not wanting to put that piece out there for everybody at that time yet, because I know that I'm wanting to have my writing just be a little bit more matured and seasoned for what all I can do. And a random fact about me, oh goodness, I've been to Disney World like so many flippin' times, I cannot even count. Like I just like have Disney running through my veins. I'm a Disney freak, and so I just adore it. And I am actually going to Disneyland this summer. I'm hoping that's happening. So Disneyland is in the near future for Brooke here, and so I'm super excited about it. But sorry, go ahead.
I said I hope you vlog because I'm
hoping I do too. So it's gonna be like the best time ever because any Disney trip for me is the best time ever. It's my happy place, so I'm excited. But Mandi, did you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name's Mandi Lynn. My YouTube channel is Mandi Lynn Vlogs. I've been on YouTube since about 2012, and I've started it right before I published my first novel, Essence, and then I have my second novel, I Am Mercy. I'm working on my third novel, title to be revealed very soon, and I'm working on it for Camp NaNoWriMo, which hopefully by the end of April I will be done. And let's see, my random fact about myself is I just got back from Costa Rica, and I got to see monkeys, and oh my God, what is this? This is happening live, people. And random fact, I have smoothie.
I was hoping it was like some type of really cool drink that you would have had in Costa Rica, just showing that you guys have not left vacation mode yet.
Right. This, I was like, is this alcoholic? Should I be drinking this on air? Okay, I'm done now. Natalia, it's your turn.
Yay, okay, it's my turn. All right, hello everybody. If you don't know me, my name is Natalia Leigh. I'm the author of 2 young adult novels. Both of those are self-published and they're titled Highborn and Way of Spears. I am hard at work on my third novel right now, titled Song of the Dryad, and I'm hoping to start traditionally querying that novel to agents very, very soon. So when I start doing that, you can expect to see like a bunch of vlogs and process videos and, you know, my journey up on my channel. I have been on AuthorTube for, I want to say like a year and a half. I started my channel about 2 years ago, but I didn't start seriously creating content until about 6 months in. So I want to say it's been about a year and a half. And then a random fact about me, I guess one that I can think of right off the bat is I recently got myself a new tattoo. I posted about it on my Instagram today. So I have a sweet, fun new armband tattoo here, and I now have a total of 7 tattoos and 13 piercings. So there is my random fact for the day. I haven't talked about that much on my channel, so hopefully that's some new information for you guys. And now I think we are going to hop straight into the summary of Keeper.
Yeah, okay, so yes, so Keeper, if you all don't know by now, it is a great fantasy, witchy type of read, and it is the debut novel written by Kim Chance, who you guys have probably heard of her by now if you are familiar with AuthorTube at all. And it is just a wonderful start to this new series that is officially confirmed series now that Kim had just announced recently that there is going to be a book 2 for Keeper, and that would be called Seeker. And so we are so excited for her that that is going to be coming out. And I think she said 2019, right, guys? That was
she said fall of 2019 in her video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. That sounds right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so back to the summary of the book. So Keeper is about a girl named Leigh Stiles who is about 16 or so, and she's in high school, and she's pretty much like the basic Ravenclaw, straight A's, loves to study. She is all about good grades, and she is just wanting to go ahead and take her knowledge and just try and see the world. She's just wanting to try and reach out and see other things. But right now she's still in her hometown, and she has a really good friend named Maggie, who is very super comic book nerd type of girl. And anyway, so what happens, I won't spoil things, but I'll give you kind of the basic details, that Leigh somehow sees this girl who no one else can see, and the girl is kind of dressed in old-fashioned clothing, and she's actually covered in blood. And so, and once again, Leigh is the only one who can see her. And so lots of just weird supernatural things start to occur, and maybe some witchy experiences as well down the road. So I'm going to probably end it there because I don't want to spoil too many things about the rest of the story besides that. But so far, I really think that this was a good, solid start for Kim in her first debut novel. And
right.
then...
Yeah, so we are just going to...
Sorry.
we're probably going to talk over each other a lot as we are learning how to do this together. But I'm going to dive into the author bio. So most, if not all of you, probably already know who Kim Chance is. She is extremely well-loved and well-known here on AuthorTube for posting not only writing tip videos, but she posts, you know, she's working on her WIP diaries right now, and she posts a lot about her writing journey, which is what I have been following for quite a while now. Her debut novel, Keeper, of course, came out by Flux Books in January 2018. And like Brooke said, the sequel called Seeker has recently been announced. It's supposed to be out fall of 2019, so we're super excited about that. If you don't know who Kim is, or if you want to look into her some more, definitely check out her YouTube channel, and then you can visit her online at www.kimchance.com.
All right.
And on that note, I'm going to move into the wonderful book merch that Kim has provided. So one of the things she did, if you pre-ordered a copy of Keeper, she sent a personal little cute package. And I'll just show you what was in that package right now. Hold on one second. So first we have this wonderful postcard, which Kim signed, and then she wrote me a little note on the back, which I'm very happy about. And then a bookmark for Keeper, And I believe that's a little summary on the back there. And then my personal favorite, and I think everyone's personal favorites, are these character cards. So she actually worked with an artist. She hired an artist to create these character cards. She has a few more, but these are like, you know, the main three. We've got Lainey, and then we got Maggie. And then finally we have Ty. And on the back of each card, it actually has a quote from each of the characters that kind of like totally exemplifies who they are as a person. But I just thought these are super cute, and I don't think it's something that a whole lot of authors do, and I feel like they should do it way more often because it's just so fun for the reader to see a character.
Totally. I do wish that more authors would have done kind of Kim's route of kind of showing off what the characters looked like in such a cool way. I mean, and also sending that to where some readers were able to keep those. And I mean, they could even use that as bookmarks too if they wanted to and whatnot. Oh, and I had to mention real quick that I actually bought this keeper candle. I bought this candle and it says Lainey right here, and it has the lightning bolts that are all green and whatnot. And it's just like, oh, by the way, oh, did you guys see the sparkles fly? If you didn't, sparkles flew because this thing is freaking sparkly, all green and pretty. And you can actually buy this from That Bookie Candles. The AuthorTuber and booktuber Julia from That Bookie, she has her own line of candles that are related around certain books, and she has one for keeper. And so I thought that was really neat, and it smells freaking fantastic. Like I think I had said, it's like a sugar cookie type smell, and I'm actually going to keep this off because it smells really good just without even writing this. But yeah, so real quick, did we want to try and like look over to see comments or whatever of any questions so far that people have? Oh, do we have people from Europe?
I think it might just be Timmy.
Oh yeah, Timmy, I forgot.
None of us are
like out of the country and stuff. I'm like not used to that whatsoever. I forgot about that, Timmy.
Timmy, what time is it where you are right now? I feel like there might be a Romania.
I forgot that you were there. Oh my gosh. Well, thanks so much for watching us here in the States.
3:51 a.m. That's dedication.
Wow. Well, if you pass out on us, we will not judge you by any means. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Well, awesome. Well, thank you once again, guys. Thank you so much for watching our live stream. This has been so much fun so far. And so did we want to go into anything before we're letting people know that spoilers are ahead and among us soon?
Ooh, let's talk, let's chat about the book cover.
Gosh, yeah, let's go ahead.
Book cover love. Yeah, so first, I feel like I have to point out that all of us tried to dress in versions of green today in order to support the green in the story and the green on the book cover. And when we were chatting prior to going live, we were just exchanging so much love for the cover of Keeper. I think it is absolutely beautiful. And personally, I think one of my favorite elements is the dress. I know that it's been done on a lot of YA book covers, but I think it is so unique and so gorgeous on Keeper, and it's probably my favorite aspect of the cover.
Yeah, I love the dress. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's like a really just kind of gothic looking cover too. And I love the plantation in the background. Yeah, good job, Natalia, holding that up.
Right.
I love that plantation in the background because I'm a definite fan of Southern type of settings for books and whatnot. And so I just think that even just screams more that this is a book that takes place in the South. And it just always, the South just has kind of already creepy vibes with kind of the trees with the Spanish moss and whatnot. And so just already sets a nice tone for the book knowing that it takes place there. And Mandi, did you want to say anything about the cover?
Yes, but it's more of a side note. I don't know if you guys watched Kim's video where she talked about the process of making the book cover. but she said that one of the first revisions, Lainey, who is, I think she said it was supposed to be Lainey on the cover, but the girl on the cover wasn't wearing any shoes, and it really bothered her that she wasn't wearing any shoes. So the fact that she went into the details of having the graphic designer add these shoes in just made me laugh so much. And I was like, oh, there's the little details.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was really fun getting to watch that video because I had never seen like the process of working with a designer before. I'm coming from a background, and Mandi, I believe you are too, of making our own book covers. So personally, I've never had the opportunity to actually discuss with a designer what I want the book cover to look like. So I'm really glad that Kim put out that video because I really enjoyed getting to see the like back and forth process and everything that is exchanged before the final cover is actually revealed to us.
Yeah, I think that's awesome because whenever I had self-published, it was just all me doing the book cover. So having to have someone that you're trying to go back and forth with on trying to make it to where you get your own book cover that you had always dreamed about, but also having someone else be the one to like take what you have in your head and put it on a cover. That's sometimes hard to try and get it kind of right. And especially for having your first book come out and you get like such an amazing cover. Oh my gosh, I bet Kim is just like, oh my gosh, thank you. So that would just be a dream to have it just be so awesome and everything. But okay, so I think we're good to go ahead and just kind of dive into our discussion of the overall book. And like I said earlier, spoilers, we are talking about them. So if you haven't read Keeper by any means, you're fully welcome to go ahead and come back and watch our video. I think we'll be able to go ahead and keep it on the channel. So if you wanted to come back and watch it later on, you totally can. But we're just letting you know right now, we are talking spoilers and whatnot. So I guess this is just saying bye if you haven't read it yet, because we are going ahead and talk about it. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about overall voice and how we thought Keeper was with being told and like, oh my gosh, this is live. Right. But let's go ahead and like talk about like voice and audience and whatnot. I felt like we've already kind of somewhat discussed certain things, me and the girls here, and I felt like Natalia did a really good way of kind of discussing her viewpoints on how Kim told the story. So Natalia, did you want to go ahead and start kind of opening up about that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I do feel like the voice, personally for me, I felt like it was a little bit younger, which I do think makes sense with the age of the main character, Lainey, because she is in her teen years. And personally, you know, I've read YA for a long time, but as I'm getting older, you know, I'm 24 now, so I do feel like the way that I'm reading YA is changing. So for me, it did feel like a little bit younger of a young adult voice, you know, versus what we're seeing in new adult type novels such as, you know, Sarah J. Maas or Holly Black, those books that are coming out that have a slightly older voice. So I do feel that with the content and the material within the novel, I think Kim chose a very successful, not only point of view, but way of telling that story that was able to target a slightly younger young adult audience.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like it was a little bit younger, but it's not necessarily a bad thing by any means. It just was kind of to where I do feel like that sometimes people do kind of want a heads up because sometimes that might not be their go-to reading choice, but some people really prefer that, honestly. They like to kind of have it to where they're feeling like back, like if you're older or whatever, they kind of like to feel back like they are that age and they're going through all of those things. So I agree. I felt like it was well told in the way that Kim handled it and whatnot. And Mandi, did you want to discuss anything with that?
I do. I will go into our next topic, which is actually characters, and I wanted to discuss voice in terms of the voice for Maggie.
Okay.
Which I think is a character we all love deeply. Maggie, you know, she's a great sense of humor. She's a great little light in the book, and I deeply appreciated Maggie's little comments and the voice that she had, because they were all like fandom references. So, and they were most of which I knew. So like, especially the Lord of the Rings ones, I kind of like cheered a little bit when I read that one. But that was me. And that's my take on that.
Yeah, I was definitely a fan of Maggie. She was just a joy every single time that you read anything that she said or any type of action that she did. It was just like, oh, that's typical Maggie and everything. And so it was kind of nice to also have a character that was very much an integral plot to the book by being a best friend. And I think we've discussed this before, but we'll say it again on live stream, that we really liked how Kim handled it to where the best friend was still very much here to stay in the book, and that they did have a big part of the plot, even though sometimes in YA, the best friends can be forgotten. But she just really did a great job of keeping Maggie really much kind of almost hand in hand with Leigh through a lot of the things that they went through.
Yeah, and what I liked about Maggie was, I feel like when I was interacting with Leigh, she was going through so much in her life that she was kind of like, I kind of saw her like a loose cannon. Like you weren't really sure what was going to happen with her because of all the turmoil that was going on in her life. But what I loved about Maggie was she was kind of the solid rock in Leigh's life. Like when everything else was spinning out of control and Leigh thought she knew these people and thought she knew her family members, and everything was changing around her and she was losing people in a way, I really liked how Maggie was always there as, you know, she was solid and straightforward and always there to support Leigh. But, you know, like you guys said, she wasn't just the support character. Like, I have to say that Maggie probably was my favorite character. So she didn't feel like a side character to me. She didn't feel like she was kind of, you know, being forgotten about. Like you said, Brooke, I do think that she was my favorite character. And I'm hoping, now that we know that Keeper is getting a sequel, I'm hoping that we will get to see Maggie a whole lot more when Seeker comes out.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And we'll get to see her in a much different type of form at points.
Yes.
I think that will be awesome. But before we get into more of Maggie's story of what all happened with her, let's go ahead and talk about Leigh, our main heroine of the story. I felt like Leigh was very relatable. I felt like she just was someone who any high school girl or anyone who obviously was in high school could have just been like, yep, I've been there, done that, with awkwardness with guys or with awkwardness of any other type of situation. And then also with lots of the things that she had gone through and lots of devastation that she had going throughout the book. I mean, anyone would have reacted the way that she would have. Natalia or Mandi, anyone? I'm so bad at hosting, guys.
I'm trying to think. Oh, how about Josephine? Because she wasn't like, I don't know what you would qualify her as a character in terms of the story, but I loved whenever she jumped into the story because it gave a whole nother feel to the story, because you were usually, you know, jumping back in time or something like that. It felt more mystical, more magical, and I feel like that's what really helped make the book, because like we were discussing off the air how, you know, Leigh's doing a lot of questioning of her magic, but she's not playing around with it. And we're really hoping in book 2 she'll play around with it a little bit more.
More lightning.
Yeah. So seeing Josephine kind of, you know, she's the master of the magic. She's got this, you know, that's where we got the magic from book 1. But hopefully book 2, we see it from Leigh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if we're talking about Josephine, I'll jump in and say that I really, really loved her character. Personally, I'm somebody that is fascinated by more like historical accounts. So the fact that we were looking back in time at Josephine's story really intrigued me. And I believe that Kim mentioned in one of her previous videos that a lot of people really connected with Josephine and many people wanted to know her story. So, you know, I don't think Seeker is going to be Josephine's story. I think we're going to move forward with Lainey and Maggie. But personally, I think it would be so sweet to get to see an entire novel from Josephine's point of view, because she was just fascinating to me. Like, I really wanted to know more about her.
Like a keeper prequel and have it be
exactly
and whatnot. Yeah, that would. I mean, that would be awesome, because I loved Josephine. Every time that she was on the page, I was just like, "Ooh, what are we gonna find out about her next?" Because she was always very intriguing to learn about. And I find it so weird. I mean, if it's your opinion, if you're a beta reader for Kim and that was your opinion, that is a-okay. But I just really loved Josephine, and Kim had said at one point that there are lots of people telling her to just go ahead and delete Josephine, period, from the book. And I really liked Josephine. I was just like, why? I mean, it's your opinion and whatnot, but I liked how we had kind of more that rich backstory with her, and not even just with her. I mean, that's also Lainey's family that we're learning about too. So it's also somewhat Lainey's backstory in a way as well. And so I liked having it to where Kim was still able to keep her in. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about Ty, the guy and the guy with his charming looks who always knows how to save the day, or maybe not all the time.
Yeah, let's talk about that at the end.
So what were our thoughts about Ty, Natalia?
So I don't know if I'm in the minority here, but I would have really liked to see more development from him personally. I feel like he had a solid foundation and a solid start. But unfortunately, I do feel like I've seen a Ty type of character in many other young adult novels I've read. He has the charming good looks. He's rough and tumble. He likes to be, I think he's called a street fighter as well. Like, so you see these really interesting aspects to his personality, but I wanted to learn more about him. Granted, I am aware that, we were in Lainey's point of view, so we only know what Ty has told her. And we are going to talk at the end about our theories about Ty and what he might be, what he may or may not represent in this second book. But I really did wish that I could have gotten to know him a little better aside from the romance. Like, I wanted to see him as Ty versus Ty with Lainey, if that makes sense.
Ty as his own person rather than Ty, the love interest.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I totally get you. Because I did. There were times where I really did like Ty, and then there were times where it was kind of like more, I wish we had a little bit more depth with him, but I did really overall enjoy his overall character. But yeah, I was mad at the end. But before we get into his betrayal and whatnot, Mandi, what were you thinking about Ty?
I can't talk about Ty without talking about the end. I feel betrayed.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say I always fall hard and deep for those classic bad boys, or I don't even know if he's a bad boy, really. I mean, but I fall for the cliches. But I love Ty, and I got addicted to him. So at the end, which I can't wait to discuss, I felt very upset, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, it was so sad, like, because I felt like he was the reason why a certain someone was pretty much killed right in front of Lainey and stuff, or not even killed in front of Lainey. I think Lainey was the one who had done it, right? Anyway, we're diving into too deep before we get into it. But anyway, yeah, his betrayal was definitely like, why? And so Lainey's next time, I'm assuming we are seeing Ty again in the second book. I mean, I'm assuming definitely we will, but I bet Lainey will definitely have her guard up whenever we do officially get to see him in action again. And I bet it will take her a long time to go ahead and trust him again, if she does. And who knows, maybe we'll get another love interest in the next one that will be competing with Ty's affections for her.
Oh, and this is kind of off topic, but because you said that, another love interest, I started thinking about like another point of view. And do you guys think that Maggie will get her own point of view in the second book and potentially her own love interest as well?
I would love that.
That'd be sweet.
Oh yeah. Her as a wolf, and then her
right.
also having her typical like superhero thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's like, I'm just like blah 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 out of this book. I mean, she'll be like so fun. I hope Kim does that. That would be really fun.
Okay, sorry, I kind of got us off topic, but do we want to kind of share our thoughts on Gareth and Serena?
Yes.
Do you have something to say, Brooke?
I liked them. I really did. My thing, can I go ahead and talk about relationship, or should we talk about them individually?
Yeah, I think you should.
Okay. So y'all
talk about them without talking about their relationship.
Yeah. So y'all who are on the sidelines, and I'm trying to like, by the way, real quick, I'm trying to like type back, but I need to just work out like how to comment. Like for some reason, I'm having issues of trying to comment to y'all on the sides. And so I see lots of familiar faces, and I'm so sorry. I'm like trying to like, while everyone's talking every now and then, I'm just trying to like also like comment as well. Are you guys having issues commenting real quick?
No, I just had to refresh mine, and now I can comment just fine.
Oh, I haven't. Okay, so you refreshed like my video that's on the channel and stuff?
Yeah, the web browser with YouTube pulled up.
Because right now, every time I'm on my channel, it's like so far back in time and stuff of whenever we were talking. So let me try and refresh it. I don't know. Anyway, sorry for the brief pause, y'all. Man, it's still lagging, whatever. I want to comment, but I just don't want to get too distracted because it's too hard. So anyway, let's go ahead. I'll try and figure that out in another time. But let's go ahead and talk about Gareth. And is it Serena?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was thinking Serena Vanderwoodson from Gossip.
Right.
Right. So, okay, I really liked Gareth and his kind of uncle-ness towards Lainey. I felt like he was a really just good-hearted character that you just really liked. Serena, I did wish that we got a little bit more, not witchy stuff from her, because she's not technically a witch. She's kind of more clairvoyant-ish in a way. And I wish we got to see a little bit more stuff from her. But the main I liked her overall, but I just wish we got to see more of what she could do, because she did have like her own shop that was kind of like tarot card reads and stuff like that, and more kind of, once again, she's not a witch, but she's kind of like almost to that way, you know what I mean? She kind of has those claims. But Gareth and Serena, I just felt like weren't a couple. Like in the book, I just was kind of like going, aren't they a couple? That's my thing. We had this discussion of where we were like, maybe Kim didn't mean to make them a couple, but it was said that they were boyfriend and girlfriend. But because I just didn't feel like they didn't have really that boyfriend-girlfriend chemistry. I don't know.
Yeah, and it also, like, when we discover toward the end that, you know, Gareth is, like, Lainey's protector, I think that's when the same questions came up for me with, you know, are they actually in a romantic relationship together, or are they both her protectors and they have just been kind of faking it, or they have just been good friends this whole time, and they kind of put on a front for Lainey so that she wouldn't question why Serena was always around? Maybe. Right. I mean, viewers, what do you guys think? Do you think they're actually in a relationship, or do you think that they were kind of faking it for Lainey, you know?
Fake it till you make it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a question, like, why is she always here? She's not family. Well, she's my girlfriend. Oh, okay. You know, that just kind of makes it to where it's like, oh, well, that's why she's always around, because she was kind of using her. I mean, I guess she was a witch because she did use her magic to kind of have it to where Lainey was covered and she was kind of blocked out by any of the master's guards and whatnot and stuff. Y'all, it's been like since January and December since I read this book, so I'm sorry if the details in my head are a little fuzzy.
Timmy says, did you hear that? Or
No, sorry, I was talking over you. What'd you say, Mandi?
Kimmy says, I think they're just friends. No kiss was mentioned or tender touch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that too. We mentioned that to each other.
Yeah, because we were like, was there a moment of where we saw them kiss? And I don't even know if we saw them hug. So maybe it was just kind of faking it for Lainey just so that way she felt like it was normal to have Serena around all the time because Serena needed to protect her.
Mm-hmm.
Haley's like, I never thought of that theory. That would make sense now.
Yep.
See, we're on to something, y'all. We're on to something.
Yep.
But
and
maybe they were together. Maybe they were.
And I read this a while back as well, just like you, Brooke. So am I correct in thinking that Serena is with Lainey right now? Isn't she at the end where we left off? They're together?
Yes.
In that group?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Them in the Hyteria.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to say it. Like the group that's going against the master. But yeah, I'm very curious to see how Serena develops in this second book, because I was totally with you, Brooke, in feeling like I really wanted to see more power from her. You know, she's somebody that is into tarot and divination and protecting Lainey with these magical type abilities. And I would love to see that developed more. I would just like overall, I want to see magic. Like I want to see the other and the grimoire and all of these powers. Like I would love to see that really explored in Seeker. And I'm hoping that with Serena along and with, you know, Maggie transforming into what she's transforming into, I hope that we get a lot more, you know, magical vibes from the second book. That would be fantastic. And again, I want to see Serena grow and do more of her tarot and divination and see what she can bring to the table.
Yeah, for sure. And tell me if I'm wrong. Is Serena a witch or is she a fairy with Gareth? Because Gareth was kind of a fairy, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, like, what is Serena? Like, because she seems different than Lainey's magic.
I think she's just like your typical medium or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think, because I don't remember anything else besides like the tarot card reading or well, never mind. I take that back. This is live, guys. I'm not good at this. But I think I don't think she's like a full-fledged witch. I think she's like, you know, a medium with like limited powers, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense.
That'll be, I was gonna say maybe that'll be defined more. I have a feeling, yeah, especially if we leave the first book off with Lainey and Serena, then maybe in the second book we'll be able to hear a lot more of Serena, and who knows, maybe this whole relationship thing will be revealed.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, if they're together, then that's great. But then it makes me feel sad for Serena because now Gareth isn't around anymore. So that's sad that if they were truly, I mean, if they weren't together, that means she lost a friend still anyway. So no matter what, it's sad. But but no, if they still were in a relationship, then heart goes out to Serena and Lainey, because Lainey took it hard when Gareth was killed. Mm-hmm. Now, let's go ahead and go over the overall plot of the book. So whenever we first come upon Lainey, she's at the comic book store with Maggie, and they're kind of wasn't Maggie like flirting with some like comic book nerds and stuff? I thought that was funny. I bet Maggie is such a flirt. Maybe she'll come upon some future wolves to flirt with or something later on.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that.
But, for sure. But no, I loved how Kim had it to where it was almost kind of scary of how Lainey first ran into Serena and first saw Serena for the first time. It was almost kind of like a scene out of a scary movie almost and stuff. So I like thriller horror stuff. So I was like, ooh. So I really enjoyed that aspect. And then she also had seen, so it was interesting in the comic book store because it was like Ty was in the comic book store as well. And at one moment he was there and a moment it was gone. So starting to foreshadow things of who he really is. Mm-hmm. And did anyone want to go ahead and take it from here on explaining more further of the plot and diving more into it?
Yeah, so I guess I'll just chat about like the hook, because we were talking about actually looking at like the writing elements and how Kim did that. And I feel like the hook was fantastic because it was right there at the end of the first chapter. So by the time you get through those first few pages, not only have you been introduced to 3 of our main characters, granted you might not know right away who Ty is, but you already know who Lainey and Maggie are. You get a feel for their personalities, which I think Kim did really well. And then right at the end of the chapter is when Josephine shows up. Lainey has her first interaction with this 200-year-old witch, and then it leaves readers wanting to know more, which is exactly what the first chapter should do. Or once you get to chapter 2 or 3, you really want your readers to be hooked and asking more questions and needing to read further, right? You don't want them to put down the book at chapter 2 and say, I'm really not interested in this. So I think Kim hit that nail right on the head, right at the end of chapter 1. I wanted to know more. So I think that inciting incident and the hook was extremely successful.
Yeah, I found myself reading the first part of the book pretty quickly at the first part of it all, because I remembered the first night that I started to read it, I read, I think, the first 6 chapters back to back, because Kim did have a great hook. She had it to where you were curious of, sorry, I just saw Zeno has coffee and donuts right there. And if you have coffee and donuts, I'm jealous right now. But sorry, the emojis were just like, I'm so bad live, guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, I just felt like Kim did such a good job of getting the reader just curious, because your curious needs to be piqued at the beginning of it all. So the hook was definitely a success. And then as the pages kind of start to go further on, you start to see more of Lainey's normal day in the life type of stuff, and you're introduced to Serena and Garth, and you're already starting to see that Lainey's kind of keeping what she saw to herself. But then eventually she has another run-in with Josephine, and so I think that's whenever she starts to actually see visions from Josephine. Am I right? The second time that she meets up with Josephine.
I'm trying to remember if she saw visions the first time or not. If it was just the blood and scary and
everyone watching once again, we've read this a while back.
We all read it like I think Natalia, you read it in January, and then me and Brooke read it as part of the street team, which was how long ago?
Yeah, oh my gosh, that was last year. I finished it in December, I believe.
I don't know when I finished it. I just remember I was in college still, and that feels like a lifetime ago. Even though it's oh, that was 2 months ago. That's it.
Well, you've had a lot of stuff going on for you right now, so that's understandable. But yeah.
I have Keeper right here, and I was trying to figure out if she actually sees one of Josephine's past memories the first time that they meet. But I'm not sure if she does or not, because I know that she's going out to her car.
I think Haley's right.
Yeah, I think you're right, Haley. She just hears Josephine repeatedly saying Lainey, Lainey, Lainey when she's rushing outside to get into her car. And then, yeah, I guess it would be the second time then that she meets Josephine that she actually gets to see one of those first visions.
Yeah. Oh, and then a little bit soon after she gets those visions from Josephine, that's whenever she encounters Ty, which this confuses me. She sees Ty in that alleyway, and he's taking on all these other guys in the alleyway. And then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, what happened? Oh my gosh, it's been so long. Okay, so
he throws his jacket down, right? And he's fighting all these people, and then the woman comes out onto the I don't know what it would be called. She was a cook or something and comes outside and she doesn't see him. He walks right by. And for me, that was the first sign of maybe he's paranormal. Maybe he's not all human if people aren't seeing him. So that was my first idea.
Yes. Yeah. It was definitely showing you that Ty isn't normal, which I forgot if he actually had the actual fight with those guys. So the question is, now that we have all read the book, were those bad guys he was going up against, or were they good guys he was going up against?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be clarified more often. Because, I mean, at first you're thinking, who are these horrible guys beating up hot guy right now? And then now that you know things, it's like, well, were those people who were trying to protect Lainey? Because he was kind of getting closer to Lainey. Mm-hmm. So anyway, lots of things that we should, lots of things that we should eventually hopefully find out with Seeker and whatnot. But okay, so what happens next? Okay, so then we start to kind of find out more about Ty as the book goes along. Sorry, I'm trying to read comments as they're coming up. Timmy thinks that they were bad guys. So she's probably thinking that Ty is actually secretly good.
Timmy's with Ty. Haley says randoms.
Yeah, I feel like that too. Just like some random thugs that he needed to get his anger out on or something.
He is a street fighter. He is a street fighter.
Well, see, and I wanted to see more of that, like, because he's advertised that way as like the handsome, rugged street fighter. But do we actually see him get in any other street fights other than that once in the alleyway? Do we see that again?
What was the time with the train? Do you guys remember there's like a scene with the train and Lainey like jumped out in front of it and Ty like pushed her out of the way? Wasn't he gonna do like the train thing? That's like the only thing I can remember as like being a bad boy. Like, oh, you're playing around a train, you're gonna get hit.
Right.
That's like a vague scene I remember.
Yeah, I do remember that he like took Lainey to that gym and he was kind of showing her like what he does and like how to like kind of prepare for fighting and whatnot. So I do remember that. I wish there was a little bit like maybe one more scene of showing off his skills, just like maybe one more time. But I mean, I guess he kind of does at the very end of the book whenever the master kind of calls him out and stuff. But I don't remember if he actually fought. Mm-hmm. I just know that he was called out. Mm-hmm. I just don't remember if he actually fought.
I don't think he did because I think it was all just confusion at that point on Lainey's part and like if I remember correctly on Ty's part, because I was like, what are you doing, Ty? Like, choose a side. Mm-hmm. Just decide already.
He does fight off some of the master's guards in the festival type of carnival thingy-mabob. So I forgot about that. So I guess he does do some of that there. Maybe it was just kind of Kim's way of showing he can handle his stuff and he knows how to like try and take care of Lainey, especially since he's like her protector and whatnot. So he probably was just like taking Lainey to that gym to just be like, secretly kind of showing I can protect you, Lainey. Secretly, because she didn't know, I guess, at that time that he was the protector of her. But did we want to go ahead and dive more into oh, I do want to mention, okay, so whenever Lainey had that I forgot if it was after the tree attacked her. I forgot if it was after that, but I adored how Kim made it to where I loved how Kim made it to where Lainey's eyes turned green whenever they used to be like brown or something. I thought that was so cool because I felt like I don't really see stuff like that as often and whatnot in books. I just thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely a good way of representing that a change had occurred in her. Because Lainey has a lot of, I feel like even at this point, she has a lot of growing up to do. Because personally, I feel like Timmy says, guardian, so he had to show off his skills. Exactly, Timmy. Sorry, it's still lagging. So I think that's why those comments are coming in slowly. But what was I saying? Demonstrating the change in her. Like, I do feel that where Lainey is now, I would still like to see more development with her character, experimenting with these intense magical abilities that she has. And I do think that was an interesting way of saying, now Lainey has made the shift. Like, she has changed over. She has accepted kind of the magical aspects in her blood. And that was a great, like, physical representation of that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that was a good way of pointing out kind of symbolism of Lainey becoming more of her witchy self and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Was there any other scene that jumped out at you guys that you were just like, oh my gosh, this was just cool and whatnot? I did. Let's go back to that train scene. I thought that was really interesting of kind of Lainey starting to face her fears and just kind of just trying to face kind of the trauma that is going on with her right now of knowing that her uncle isn't her uncle and that her parents had died from a cause that was completely different than what she was told. And I mean, there was just so many bam, 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 bam things that were happening all at once to where her kind of stepping in front of the stepping on the train tracks and having the train coming, it definitely was just her just kind of like, I'm just taking everything head on, face on of everything that's going on in my life right now. I did think that scene was really nice and cool. But I did think it was stupid.
That's a really interesting way to look at it, because I mean, what's great about stories is that each of us is bringing our own experiences to it. So we're all going to experience characters differently. Because I actually didn't like what happened in that scene with Lainey, because I was really frustrated with her when she did that, because I feel like, you know, there was definitely a lot of burden falling onto her shoulders, but I really wanted to see her accept responsibility and show maturity and growth. And I feel like, and granted, I do feel like the train scene was kind of like her final immature moment, where she was like, oh, screw this, I'm just going to stand in front of this oncoming train that could smash me to pieces. Like, I wanted to see her say, I'm ready to take on this burden, I'm ready to take on this responsibility, and then grow from that. So I was irritated with her in that scene, but maybe that's exactly what was happening. Like, that was her darkest moment, or one of them. She has many dark moments throughout the course of this novel, but for her, that may have been her darkest moment. And then after she steps off of those train tracks, that's when she's ready to start accepting the burden that's kind of been placed on her shoulders.
Oh, yes.
See, I really like that scene, because I don't know why, but I related to it a lot, because I was like, oh yeah, I'd totally do that.
Oh
Maybe
my
not
God.
jump in front of a train, but do something stupid when there's all this stuff going on in my life. I'm like, you know what? Yep, I'm going to do that stupid thing, and I'm not going to regret it until afterwards.
Well, another thing that I thought was kind of silly was whenever Gareth decided to leave in order to protect Lainey. I was just like, but shouldn't you stay to protect her? I forgot why he had to leave, but he had to leave for some reason.
I think it's because people were being drawn to them because of the magical power that they were wielding. So he was going to go away and then wield like high amounts of magic or power, so that like the trackers would be led off of Lainey's course. Okay. Like they'd be led to Gareth instead of to her. I think that's why he did it.
Okay. I was thinking about that today. I was like, why did he do that?
Yeah, and the moment he left, I kind of had a prediction of like, this is not going to turn out well. And then of course there's that scene where Lainey like has been calling and they can't get in touch with him. He's not answering his phone, and pretty much at that point I was like, he's a goner. Like it's over.
He's a goner.
Yep.
He was throwing the trail off by doing magic somewhere else. Thank you, Haley, because I was just kind of like, why did he leave? He should be staying there. But okay, that totally makes sense. It has been so long since I've read it. Sorry, guys. But no, like, and then that way Serena was able to try and wield her magic to where she was still having this barrier around Lainey to where she was being safe. Let's go back to the visions with Josephine. I loved it whenever Kim was writing, like, not just Josephine, but like all of these other keepers that have happened in the past, like all before Lainey and her mom. Like there were so many that she was writing about, and it was just kind of showing them rising to the occasion of saving the grimoire, but then also failing and dying, and they were having to pass it on to other family members in the family and stuff like that. I just thought it was very tragic. That's how it had to be, but I guess it all comes to a stop with Lainey for now, because she technically is the grimoire.
On that note, I have to say, you know, like the scenes with Josephine, I felt like were like such a different, like not different story in a bad way, but like, you know, you went to like a different part of the book it felt. On that note, because it was like a touch of historical, and that I know that Kim was working on like a historical, I think it was like a historical thriller novel, if I remember correctly. She said the book she was working on before she went back to Seeker. I am like so excited for that book now because I feel like I've gotten a glimpse of like her writing style for that through Josephine. So now I'm just going to try very patiently to wait for Seeker to come out, fangirl over that, and then fangirl over this third book because it sounds right up my alley. And all I've heard is like her quick little description on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited that Seeker is a thing and that it's going to happen. But I was like, oh no, I was so excited for her historical book to come out. But I mean, hey, if Seeker's coming out sooner, then that's great because I knew that if the project she was working on now was going to be her main focus, then Seeker, or at the time the sequel to Keeper, was going to be several years ahead of us now. So it was going to be a long time until we got to have some knowledge of what happened after Keeper happened and stuff. But Haley made a good point in the comments. She said, I have to say I was shocked she killed Gareth off. That's when I realized Kim wasn't afraid to make the stories dark, which is totally true because, I mean, now it's like, well, she could even kill off Maggie in the next one if she wanted to try and do something with that, which I don't want her to do. I really like Maggie. But, yeah, I really did think Kim was in a good headspace whenever she was coming up with lots of backstory for Josephine and whatnot. Which, by the way, I want to bring up, Josephine was kind of mirrored whenever she was with her guy. I forgot his name, but whenever she was with her guy, and then she had to kill him because the master, well, technically he was killed in front of her, and then she had to kill him later on, which was kind of mirrored in how Leigh had to be at the very ending with Gareth. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, oh no, it's like one of those poetically tragic type of things, which I really liked. I always like it whenever it goes dark like that, but in a beautiful type of way.
Well, and that kind of leads me to want to talk about the master because, of course, he's supposed to be, right? He's supposed to be our ultimate villain in this novel. And how did you guys interact with him? Like, what did you think of the master?
He felt like, or sorry, do you want to go?
No, you go ahead, Mandi. I talk too much, so you go.
Well, he felt like the classic villain. Like literally, I can picture him going like this with his mustache. And I like it felt appropriate, probably for like the genre of Keeper, you know, young adult. But at the same time, I wanted to see like a little bit more, you know, a little bit more of the complex villain rather than the like classic villain. But I don't know if that was just me. But I still like. He still annoyed me, which, you know, is a good sign of a villain, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Mandi. Again, I think if you hear crying in the background, both of the cats are at the door crying back and forth to each other, so that's happening. But I feel like when I read Keeper, like I mentioned in the beginning, I was very much reading it from an older perspective, and I approached it from, you know, having read much darker stories, you know, having watched The Walking Dead and like these very, very brutal, dark, you know, dark media. So when I was interacting with the master, I was definitely like wanting him to do something absolutely horrific. Like I wanted my stomach to twist in disgust at how he behaved. And unfortunately, I didn't get that. But I do think you make a really good point, Mandi, where you say that based on the audience that Kim was writing to and the voice of this novel, I think that he kind of fit well into that. Just personally for myself, having read, you know, so much dark fiction, I wish he would have been like super cringy, and every time I saw him, I wanted to be like disgusted at who he was. So again, we'll see what he becomes in book 2, but personally, I'm hoping he gets way darker and way more malevolent.
I also hope that we find out more about him. I felt like we just kind of didn't really, I mean, we kind of knew about him, but we just didn't really know like, why did he want the grimoire? Like, I want to find out more, like, of why he's wanting to take on everything and wanting to just, like, have it to where all of the supernatural creatures are just kind of pretty much destroyed and whatnot. And so I kind of just want to know more backstory from him of why he's wanting certain things. And yeah, I definitely thought he was kind of that twirling the mustache type of villain type of thing. I just wish that he was a little bit more well laid out, just a little tiny bit more, because it was just to where he was kind of almost that stereotypical villain. But like how you said, for that audience, that was perfect. I feel like for that audience, I think that would be still a very enjoyable villain that you are like about and whatnot. But okay, so then let's go ahead and talk about whenever Lainey goes to Savannah with Maggie and Ty, and also Serena. At this time, Garth is missing still, and they go to Savannah, which, by the way, Savannah, y'all, is like the most beautiful place you will ever go to. I've been there before, and it's like jaw-droppingly pretty no matter where you look. Oh my God. Anyway, but no, Savannah, that's where the mansion of where they had gone to. And so they had come up with a plan, and their plan was to go ahead and have it to where Lainey and Serena would be talking with the Hyteria about how they could go ahead and try and defeat the master in a way. And while they were going to be talking with the Hyteria, I'm going to keep saying Hyteria. If I'm wrong saying that, I'm sorry. But while they were doing that, then Maggie was going to go ahead and distract everybody by looking like another Lainey. She was going to kind of be looking like the doppelganger, and which was a good idea at first. But I did think that it was really cute of how Maggie was like, I'm like Mystique. I thought that was so cute. She's like, I'm like Mystique. And so some people hopefully have read X-Men to go ahead and get that joke, because that was a pretty funny joke. But Natalia, did you have anything that you wanted to add with going at the manor and what all they were doing at the manor scene?
Yes. So there's so much I could say about this. So I am recalling pretty clearly that when Maggie, dressed as Lainey, was kind of discovered and she was being kind of pulled to the front of the crowd and everybody was looking at her and the master was looking at her. And then, like, Lainey tries to rush to the rescue and she's, like, pushing through all these people and trying to get where Maggie is. In my head, I was like, Lainey, your doppelganger is standing right there. Like, you're standing at the front of this crowd. They're gonna see you. So I was frustrated with her because it's like, it does show the aspect of her personality that's very compassionate and she's trying to save her best friend. But at the same time, I'm like, no, like, you have to think through this, Lainey. Like, you have to remember that she looks just like you and it's going to be totally obvious that something's going on. And then also, I really want to talk about what happens with Ty, but I don't know if we should wait for that. Like, should I dive into that or should I wait?
I say let's go ahead and dive into it.
Okay.
We're here kind of in that area anyway.
At the end. So with Ty, I feel like there are a lot of questions right now about, like, did he betray Lainey? Is he actually a bad guy? Is he a good guy? Personally, you know, coming from a place where I am very deep in the writing and drafting phase of a novel right now, I was picking up on very subtle hints that I feel like Kim was throwing to readers. And Lainey kept noticing these very subtle expressions that Ty would have on his face, like whether he looked pained or frustrated or whatever it was when he was interacting with the master. To me, that totally screamed that Ty is not betraying Lainey and that he is actually on her side, but he is having to play along with the master in order to kind of stay in that position of power or in that position of, like, good graces. Because if he had truly wanted to betray her, like, he had so many opportunities to, like, grab Lainey and just take her away and just take her to the master and hand her over.
Right.
So I was definitely feeling like Ty is not the bad guy. Here's you. I was feeling like I think he's going to be a good guy in the second one, just based on those very, like, subtle clues and facial expressions that he was, or that Lainey was seeing at that like climactic scene. What do you guys think? Is he good? Or
Mandi, I'll let you talk first. I feel like I talk too much in this.
No, I think it's possible. I don't know if we discussed this earlier, if it popped into my head now. But I think it might be possible that maybe he started off with the master and maybe at the beginning, like, was like, okay, I'm going to get Lainey to trust me. I'm going to earn her trust and then betray her. But then maybe he had some feelings. Or maybe just shifted, and now he's like a double agent where the master thinks he's on his side, but he's really on Lainey's side. I don't know. I feel like it could be going in a few different directions right now. So I'm kind of excited to see where it ends up going.
Totally. And I do think that Kim did a good job of making us question of what allegiance that Ty is having towards either the master or Lainey. I really do think that he is good. There's probably some type of backstory that we just don't know about Ty, where he probably like grew up as like some type of guardsman or something like that, even though he probably deep down doesn't want to be on the master's side. But because I mean, like you said, Natalia, he had like so many chances to where he could have just been like, well, Lainey, I'm gonna put you on my shoulder and we're gonna go to the master. He could have done that like at any time. And so since that wasn't the case, the only time where he did kind of transform into bad guy Ty was whenever the master was right there. And so I do think that Ty just wasn't able to show face at that moment. He had to, for some reason, be where he just couldn't have, he had no way out. There was some type of thing that was holding him back. Maybe the master has like his mom, because did he mention his mom or anything like that? I don't remember.
I think just the dad, right? And we even talked about, and I believe Timmy just mentioned it in the comments. Let me double check real fast. Yeah, Timmy mentioned that the master may have killed Ty's father. And that's something we chatted about too, is like, how is Ty actually involved with the master? Is he, you know, is there like some ransom? Is his mother being held captive? So he has to do what the master wants. Like, has he signed his soul over? Did the father sign his soul over? Like, there's just so much, like so many questions that are still unanswered. So it's really fun to talk theories and to try to figure out what's going on. But I think that we're just going to have to, for many of these things, wait until Seeker comes out in 2019 to get the answer to a lot of these questions.
I know. It seems like such a long wait, but man, Kim said that she has to like write Seeker within like, what, 6 months or so? Woo, all the power to you, girl. Hopefully that goes more so smoothly rather than not smoothly, because that is dedication to try and also as a parent to try and write a book within that certain amount of time. So hopefully everything will go according to plan for her, and I hope that everything that she has inside her head will be transferred over to page pretty reasonably. But since we had kind of started theorizing for Ty, did we want to talk any more about theorizing? Goodness, it's live. Do you want to talk any more about other theories that could go on with the story? Like, my theory is that what if the Hyteria aren't who they say that they are? I'm betting they probably are, but what if like one of them in the group isn't who they say they are, and they could try and take Lainey away and take her to the master or something?
That reminds me of, oh gosh, I feel like I'm going to give away spoilers for other things, but that reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have read the Maze Runner trilogy, or I think it's a trilogy now. Like we thought a certain group of people were the good guys, and then it turns out that that certain group of people might actually be the bad guys. So yeah, that'll be really interesting to see if Lainey is actually safe with these people, or if she's in an even worse situation moving forward.
I don't know if you guys saw what Haley said. She said,
I was just about to point it out.
Thinks, yeah, that Ty's acting as a spy for the master, and he's gathering information from the dark side, aka Severus Snape style.
Always. No, like, I mean, that is a good idea. I mean, he could be playing both sides, but like how Severus was, he was leaning more to the good side of things. And so he had to just save face. I think that's probably what it was. But yeah, I agree, Mandi. I feel like what all you had said about the Hyteria for sure. And then what was another theory that we had? Did we want to talk any more about Maggie's situation? Whenever she turned, okay, is she a werewolf or is she just like a supernatural wolf? I mean, I'm assuming that she probably doesn't have to have the moon, like the full moon, to change or whatever. But I mean, it sounds like that she's a werewolf. And I just think that was like the best choice Kim had made for her character. And as soon as she got bit, I was like, is she going to be having powers? And then I knew instantly Maggie would just be all 100% in. I knew that she wouldn't be sad about it. She was probably like, this is what was meant to happen for me or something. So I just loved how she had done that with her character.
Yeah. Whereas Lainey's having like a life crisis, Maggie's going to be like, yes, finally.
Sorry about your dad. Oh, not my dad. Sorry about your uncle. But yes, I'm so excited.
And then going off of that, I actually have a question for you guys. And like, so going into this novel, I very much believed that it was just going to be like a paranormal witchy novel, which I was super excited about. But then I was very surprised to find that there were, fae were in this novel. We have like the shifters. We have so many different types of paranormal creatures. And do you feel like that added to the story and made it like, gave it more depth? Or do you feel like that kind of took you out of the story? Because personally, I'll just say that for me, like I really wanted, like I am still very excited to learn more about the witchy side of things. But I felt that like having Gareth be a fae and having like shifters and stuff, for me personally, it kind of pulled me away from Lainey's story, because then it was just making me think of, so many other novels that I have read with these other types of creatures. So while they certainly did add to the narrative and they are definitely important to the story, for myself, I think personally, I would have really liked to see the action stick with the witchy side of everything, like the witchy magical side. How did you guys interact with that though?
So I'll compare it to, because I kind of felt, I wouldn't say for Keeper, but I felt that way in the past for books. Like when I read The Lord of the Rings, it felt like Tolkien was just like, every time there was like a new creature, I'm like, okay, now you're just making stuff up. And so I've been there before. It's like, oh, as much as I love the story, it feels like there's something new being thrown in every chapter, and it's annoying me. But I would compare Keeper kind of like to the Immortal Instruments, where there's a whole bunch of different creatures, but it kind of all centers around one thing, where in the Immortal Instruments, it's the Shadow Hunters, and in Keeper, it's the witches. And I'm hoping we'll see more of the witches in book 2. And I'm looking forward to it, I would say, yeah, because I don't think there's too much, I like the touch of every now and then having like a few new creatures, because otherwise it's like, well, you can't just have witches. Like if there's witches, what else is there?
Yeah, that's
so yeah.
No, that's interesting that you guys had brought that up, because at the time of reading it, I was kind of like, oh, wow, so there's like a whole lot more in this that I wasn't expecting and whatnot. But I do, now that you point that out, it is interesting to see a different perspective on it, because I wasn't necessarily like taken aback by there going to be more multiple types of creatures or supernatural types of beings. I was a little disappointed, though. I will say this. I was a little disappointed that Gareth was fae, because I just felt like he didn't really come off as fae. I don't know. I just was kind of, besides like sword making and welding and like fighting, I just didn't see what else made him fae. I don't know. I think it would have been better if he was a witch or a warlock, and then there were other supernatural creatures that we knew were in the world. But it will be interesting in Seeker to see what all types of critters Kim comes up with.
Yeah, and I wonder if
it's funny, like, or do you want to go now?
Yeah, go right ahead.
It's Gareth. I pictured like this big burly guy. So when I found out he was Faye, I'm like, okay, I feel like my imagination needs to lose a few pounds. So I feel like he needs to be like tall and skinny, like the type you see in like Lord of the Rings, you know, with pointy ears and all that.
And I wonder if we're going to see more. I wonder if we will meet more different types of creatures in Seeker, or if Kim is going to take the paranormal creatures that she has already introduced us to and then just develop them in book 2. Because again, like, I would like to learn so much more about the creatures that we're already seeing. That for me is one of my favorite parts of, you know, interacting with stories, is just learning backstory and history and how people came to be the way that they are. So I really do hope that we just get to learn a lot more about the different type of creatures we've been introduced to. And I think we were introduced to something called like a skipper. Is that the right term? I'm thinking jumper from that movie. They can like skip to different places. That's how they get Lainey away.
So I don't remember the part about skippers. Refresh my memory, Natalia.
Yeah, so it's at the very end when they're trying to like escape the mansion, and Lainey, Maggie, and Serena have joined up with that group of people, and there's like the awesome redheaded woman, and then there's a few other people, and they like grab Lainey and like jump or skip to a different place.
Okay.
I have the book here. I should just look up exactly what they're called.
No, like, I had forgotten that there was the term skipper. I was just kind of like, oh no, I forgot. So this raises the question. Okay, so we've got Lainey, who's the keeper, and now we have skippers. So what would be a seeker? So like, so here's a question. Here's a question. I'm on to something, you guys. Okay, so Ty, let's say Ty, is he the seeker? Because he's seeking out Lainey to protect her or to get her? Is he a seeker in the master's terms to try and get Lainey to, like, he's seeking out Lainey to bring back to him? Like, is that his, like, what his title would be? Because, like, what is a seeker in the second one?
I totally Ty is a seeker now, and I'm really excited now. I feel like I need to read book 2, even though it's not written yet.
I wonder if we're going to see his point of view then in Seeker, like a dual point of view with Lainey and Ty. Granted, it would be super sweet to see Maggie's point of view. Like, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Maggie's point of view, because that would be awesome.
Yeah. It'd be wonderful to get, 3 is just a nice, like 2 or 3 point of views, I think is totally fine in a book. It doesn't bother me to have multiple point of views from certain characters in books, as long as they're not like boring to read. But I feel like for the most part, Kim would do a good job of having it to where it's very interesting to still read from all of these people's and their perspectives of what's going on. So yeah. Seeker. We'll have to find out what a seeker is in the second one. And my guess is Ty is a seeker. Mm-hmm. He's going to catch the snitch. That's what he's going to do.
All right.
But yeah. So is there anything else that we wanted to discuss here? Did anyone have anything that they wanted to pop in the comments and whatnot? I keep saying and whatnot. I always have like my go-to phrases that I have to cut out in my video of whenever I'm editing stuff or whatever. I always have to cut out and whatnot, and there's so many other phrases I have to cut out, but anyway. I feel like
for those watching, what do you guys think the seeker is? Let us know.
See, and now we'll have to like pause to let the video actually catch up, because
I know
it's
lagging really bad on the comments.
Should we announce next month's book?
Ooh, yes. So I was about to say, so Natalia, since I had done the keeper hosting, did you want to go ahead and present what the next book will be, since you are the host of next time?
Yes, absolutely. So like Brooke said, I'm going to be hosting the AuthorTube Book Club on my channel in April, and we are going to be reading The Elysian Prophecy by Vivian Reese. Oh, so Charles thinks that she's going to introduce a new character as the Seeker.
That's very plausible too.
Yeah. And do you think that would be the second point of view? Like, do you think we're going to see the point of view of that character? Whoever it is?
And what is the role of the Seeker?
Right. It could kind of be like Cinder, or not Cinder, Scarlet from the Lunar Chronicles, where we still got Cinder's point of view, who was the main person from the first book, but then we also got Scarlet's point of view, who was the new character brought on in the second one. So we could have Leigh, who is the Keeper, and then we could have whoever the Seeker could be and whatnot. So that would be really, really cool.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm excited for reviewing the Elysian Prophecy. I've already started reading, and I need to read. I want to try and like binge read the book before Camp Nano comes around, because I know I'm going to read during Camp Nano, but I want to like try and get as much as I can done so that way I can focus on writing later on. But oh my gosh, yeah, I love how all of these AuthorTubers have come out with so many books recently. It's just
there's so many good ones coming out. And also, I think what I'm going to do while I'm reading The Elysian Prophecy is, because I didn't know that we were doing Keeper for this book talk, I didn't take notes or anything, but while I am reading now, I'm going to be taking like meticulous notes so that when we get on, I know exactly what I want to talk about.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, I haven't started taking notes yet. What was I thinking? I mean, I'm not totally deep into it. I'm like past 10%. So I haven't missed too much, but still, I need to be a note taker. I'm a pantser for everything. I pants my way through writing and videos. Like, I never make a script. I think the only time I made a script was like the last video I did, which was like that book review I had done. But other than that, like, I'm just a pantser all the way through. So reading is going to be hard, of me going, okay, put it down and write some notes so that way you remember for later. That'll be interesting to do. But yeah, I'm excited for reading Vivian's book. That will be awesome. And so was there anyone, I knew that Timmy said that she wasn't wanting us to go yet, that she was having fun still talking about it. Did anyone want to bring up anything in the comments of something we have not hit yet in Keeper? Yeah, Bethany, read The Elysian Prophecy, because this was so much fun talking about this with you guys for Keeper. So yeah, let's do Elysian Prophecy next for this next time.
I think this is such a great way not only to like read more books, because I definitely need the motivation to continually pick up a new book and read it because I get so busy doing everything else, but it's such a fun way to support each other. And to those of you that are watching this, that was one of the main points that Mandi, Brooke, and I discussed when we were chatting before the live stream, is just that through these book talks, we really want to support each other. You know, we want to support not only indie published AuthorTubers, but also traditionally published AuthorTubers as well. There are so many amazing books out there, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on all of them and reading as much as possible. So we'll see. I mean, Bethany will probably be reading your book eventually too. We'll be chatting about it on here.
She's gonna be like, oh no.
No, I'm so excited for this whole AuthorTube Book Club journey, because like how you had said, Natalia, like I want to support the people who we watch all the time, and we love them and watching their videos. So we need to support them and just enjoy what stories they have written, because it's just so fun to see what all our imaginations can come up with. And I love how we are getting to see that through people who we feel like we know on a personal level, even though we haven't met them in real life. I feel like I know certain people like on such a personal level just by watching their videos and stuff. So it's almost kind of like, oh, I know this person, so that means I have to buy their book because I know them. It kind of feels like that. It's like I have to buy that. They're my friend, right?
Yeah. And then going along with that, also, it kind of can be a weird situation too, because we know these people, we love these people, and we interact with them, and it's kind of, you know, a difficult situation to read a book and then want to jump on here and chat about it, because we want to be as supportive and encouraging as possible. But then also when it comes down to it, we all read books and we interact with them differently. So, you know, like we've talked about, the three of us, is just wanting to be truthful and honest about our opinions, but also be super supportive and kind and loving as well.
Bethany wants to know if we're ever going to do our own books.
Ooh, that's a great question.
And whenever I had first came up with the idea of AuthorTube Book Club, I had even suggested, like, if someone wanted to stay, like, I know you two have books out and stuff, so I don't at this moment, but I knew that if you guys wanted to stay for the book talk, whenever we decide to, like, come to one of y'all's books and stuff, if you guys wanted to stay, then that'd be cool. We kind of could interview guys, or if you felt uncomfortable to be talking about your own book for such a long period of time, then by all means, we could probably get, like, some type of guest to come on the book club chat and whatnot or something. Or, I mean, we have lots of different ways probably to go about doing this, I think. So we'll have to see what all happens. Especially since we're all working on books right now of our own, to where not just like, I don't know, it'll just be really fun to like see what all we come up with to do for our own works in progress. But as of right now, I do feel like that we're wanting to focus on lots of outside author book club stuff at the moment.
We'll get to ours later.
Right?
Trying to read.
I'm having a great time chatting with people.
I wish I could talk like, well, I mean, I'm talking like this, but like I, for some reason, am having a hard time chatting and typing stuff out. So I'll just have to play with it here in a little bit. But yeah, everyone has just been so much fun to read y'all's comments and whatnot. See, I said whatnot again. But it's been so much fun to see everyone like participating in the conversation that we're having. Like, this has been a blast. I've loved every second that we have done of all this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was definitely a little bit nervous, but I think it went really well. And all of you guys that joined us and have been chatting, thank you so much. You definitely helped like ease us into this live stream. Yes. Because it was so new and we were nervous, but thank you for your support and your love. It was really, really fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this was a blast. Like, I at first was like super freaking nervous. I felt like I had the nerves of like how you get whenever you're driving to meet someone for your first date. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I was just like, should I back out? No, I can't. But I'm just afraid because I'm so freaking nervous. Oh my gosh. But no,
back out. Posted all about it.
Right, exactly.
But no, I felt like this was a definite success. I'm so thrilled of our conversations that we had, because I felt like we hit a lot of topics that we had wanted to go over. Mm-hmm. And so was there anything else that we should have talked about before we would sign off? Either Natalia, Mandi, or anyone who would be wanting to comment. Just want to make sure that we got everything. I feel like I keep playing with my hair. Like,
oh yeah, I've been doing it too.
I'm just kind of like, I want it to look like this.
Right, and you're like staring at yourself the whole time too.
I know, so and I'm like, I am so like narcissistic.
I'll have to wear an updo next time, so I won't be touching my hair the entire live stream.
Day.
Yeah, but for me personally, there's nothing else about Keeper. I feel like we really hit everything. I just want to repeat that we will be reading the Elysian Prophecy for April. So if you guys want to join in, make sure to pick that up and get to reading.
And that will be on Natalia's channel next time. Just a reminder, it will be on Natalia's, not mine. And then the next month following, it will be on Mandi's. So we kind of are going to switch around here, so we all get our fun of getting to be playing host and whatnot. So,
and we may already have a book in mind for when I host, but you guys have to stay tuned and watch the next live stream.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so excited for all of the books that we are going to review. It's going to be so much fun. And so I want to try and read the comments real quick before we go. Oh, thanks, you guys. Y'all are so sweet. Bethany's like, you guys rocked this. Yay. Timmy's
April what?
Go.
We did write the date down. I want to say April 27th.
I think we have. I have it in the thumbnail I had made.
I think it's the 27th, isn't it?
I think so.
27th.
Yeah, and it's the same time frame.
7:30 Central Standard Time.
Okay. Will that be hard, Natalia, knowing that it's 7:30 Central Standard Time whenever you're going to be hosting in Mountain Time?
Nope, no, that'll be fine. I think I just have told myself in my brain to just minus 1 hour based on whatever we're talking about. So now that I have that ingrained into my mind, I think if we switched it to mountain time, then I would be confused and show up like an hour early. So it's fine. It's fine with Central Standard.
Okay, sweet. I was just like, hopefully that's not going to be confusing. So hopefully you guys will, so all the times will stay for you guys of knowing like, that's usually going to be our time frame. And we're going to try and stick to Fridays of whenever we're going to go ahead and do our live streams. We might have conflicting schedules, especially for the summertime, because I think Mandi and I are probably gone in July, but anyway, we'll have to work that out later. It's not important at this moment, but yeah, I felt like this was a success.
Yep.
Woo!
Yep.
And real quick, did anyone notice that we are all wearing green for this live chat of Keeper?
Right.
Because the cover.
Well, I hope so, because I think, Natalia, I think you mentioned it, right?
I put it out.
I forgot if we did, so I was just making sure, like, we all teamed up and wore green for this. Oh, and I'm wearing a Star Wars Christmas sweater.
Mine's a St. Patty's Day one. Let's see, can you see the?
Oh, it's a clover.
And then I'm wearing PJs, so.
So no one's pinching us tonight because we're all wearing green. Even though that was last week, but whatever, just pointing it out. No one pinched us. But yeah, I feel like we're good to sign off here and stuff. Any last words, y'all, before we go? I know it's kind of laggy, so I'm sorry if that's odd and off and stuff. But yeah, I just felt like this was so fun. I just adored every second. And so excited for the next time, which will once again be on Natalia's channel for the Elysian Prophecy. All right, so I guess that's it. So, Timmy, I'm so happy you noticed. Because I, like, last second was like, oh, crap, I got to find something that's green. I forgot.
Well, and now we have to figure out what to wear for the Elysian Prophecy, too.
Yeah, we could either do, like, red or we could do blue. We could do, like, red, white, and blue because there's, like, that white on, like, the foamy parts of the waves on the cover or something. We'll be Elysian Prophecy and Team America.
Right. Or if we could find like a chunky necklace that's on the cover of the Elysian Prophecy, you know, that like amulet, that'd be sweet too.
Yeah. Or isn't there like a sword on the cover too? Or what is that?
There's not a sword on the cover, but there's a sword in the book.
Is there
I don't have a sword though.
Is it a spear? What's the metal thing? What's the thing on there?
I don't have the book in front of me.
I don't have it mine either right now. Crap load. Anyway, so there's like that one thing that's like breaking the necklace, isn't there? Or is my imagination just like totally wrong? It's what?
I think it was just breaking. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up on my phone.
What if I'm totally wrong?
And
I love that cover too. I think that cover's so pretty, and I'm probably completely wrong.
Let me see. It's loading. Yeah, it's totally just breaking.
Oh, I got it. I thought the necklace was like also a spear because it's pointy. That's what I did. Yep, I'm awesome.
Giant red gem.
All right, well, I'm just like done, I guess, for the night. My comments are incorrect, but oh wells. But no, thanks to you guys for all of your kind words in the comments. This was awesome. And I keep saying awesome and that this was fun because it just was. And I feel like feel like we're good. Yeah, you guys are like broken crystal. I don't know why I did that. I've seen that cover so many times. Oh well. Oh well. But no, I think this is officially us signing off now.
Yep.
Right? Right? I think we're all good now. All right, guys. So that was AuthorTube Book Club for Keeper Review. So we will catch you next time. Thank you all so much for attending.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, I'm going to sign off now.